Good morning, everyone. It's been a minute. It's the 26th of May today, and I just thought I'd give you all a bit of an update on Kenyon Clarke, or as I humorously like to call him, the crying vagina. Now, you may remember back at the in February, John Murphy was in Remuera there, and he spotted Kenyon Clarke, knew he was somewhat of a celeb, or perhaps that's wrong to call him that, but knew he was quite well known, so John filmed him. Took a few photographs and then filmed him. Kenyon Clarke walks over to the car, assaults him, steals his phone, and then takes off into his home. So what happened then is that at that time, police chose to release him without charge. And because of this, I mean, John's down $1,000 for the repair on his phone. Kenyon Clarke had thrown his phone, well, allegedly, but I don't see how any other way the phone that Kenyon took off of John managed to get into Kenyon's pool other than by way of Kenyon doing it. I don't think Kenyon gave it to someone else and they threw it in Kenyon's pool, but regardless, the police recovered John's cell phone from the swimming pool, so they know full well that Kenyon Clarke had someone else's property and had destroyed it by throwing it in the pool. Well, attempted to deprive John permanently of his property by doing so. That is just the textbook definition of willful damage. So what happened was, because the police chose not to charge Kenyon Clarke, they released him. That, of course, then prompted John, because John is not a guy to let people get away with that sort of thing. John chose to then do his own filing, and he had papers drawn up and went and filed a private prosecution against Kenyon Clarke, a private criminal prosecution against him. Now, on the 14th of April, or was it the 14th of May? Sorry, 14th of either March or April, John, the judge that was looking at this private prosecution that John had filed, decided that, no, I'm not going to accept John's private prosecution because the police should still be looking at this, and if it's a choice between John prosecuting Kenyon or the police prosecuting Kenyon, the judge was siding for the police to do it. So he then told John to get a hold of the police, and by the 24th, 10 days from that, the minute that the judge wrote, and I do have a copy of the minute, I'm just not going to release it because it's still before the courts, he then told John, go back, talk to the police, and by the 24th, I want to know what's going on. So the judge declined to accept the filings for the private prosecution and expected the police to go ahead and do something. John then contacted Miles, one of the police officers that's dealing with the issue, and amazingly, all of a sudden, what do you know, the police have changed their mind. They said they were reviewing the decision to release him without charge, probably because John had prompted them to have to fucking do their job properly and prosecute him. There was more than enough evidence, and remember, it's not just willful damage. Even though they're only charging him with willful damage, he assaulted John, although there's no actual record of that other than John saying he did. But then police say that, you know, he resisted police 10 times every fucking day, and that's fine because the police said so. But unfortunately, the police in New Zealand have a greater standing. They're considered more important to their testimony than just the average Joe, even though it's supposed to be fair and impartial. Shocking. So anyway, we look at this on May the 26th here. There's a Stuff article, all right? And I'll read it out to you. I'll try and capture it and put it up, but I'm actually down in Timaru at the moment helping my sister and my mother, so you do what you can with what you've got. So, police charged Duval founder Kenyon Clarke with willful damage after run-in with car dealer. Now, let's also remember that the police also disclosed private information about John and his situations to Kenyon Clarke. They breached John's privacy during that. Kenyon Clarke not only assaulted him, he also lied to the police. He made false statements to the police. He claimed this and that, and it was all bullshit. You know, saying John was taking photos of him and the kids. Well, I believe I proved that by showing you all the photos. Point out where the child is. There are no kids anywhere in the photos. So it just goes to show what a stand-up citizen Kenyon Clarke is and how truthful he is, doesn't it? Lying piece of shit in my book. He's even calling me a stalker and whatnot because I chose to stand out there and do a report on him. Guess Kenyon doesn't like, you know, Section 14 of the Bill of Rights Act, you know. But anyway, so moving on. After running with car dealer, and this is from Nick Trubridge, the reporter at Stuff. Duval fender Kenyon Clarke has been charged with willful damage. About fucking time, police. You should have done your job properly in the first place. Following an incident outside his Auckland home with car dealer. Clarke, alongside his wife Charlotte, once controlled the Duval Property Development Group, which entered statutory management in August last year. See, these pricks don't even want to show up after a judge orders them to have a sit-down with the receivers and suss shit out. They think, you know, oh, we're just going to come back bigger and better. Delusional. But then this is Kenyon's an English guy, so moving on. In August last year, statutory managers PwC estimated 306.3 million is owed to secure and unsecured creditors and investors. They ripped off a lot of fucking people. Now Clarke faces a criminal charge in relation to an alleged disorder incident. There's nothing alleged about it. It was an incident. We have footage. So stop with the alleged shit. As far as I'm concerned, he's guilty. But we'll let the court process do its things. The cogs turn slowly, but they do eventually turn. Now Clarke is facing a criminal charge, alleged disorder incident involving Auckland used car dealer John Murphy on February the 17th. See, they can't even get the date right. Murphy had previously been pursuing a private criminal case against Clarke, alleging Duval Fender had damaged his iPhone beyond repair during the incident. No, he alleged that he stole his phone, not that he had damaged it beyond repair, because clearly John got it repaired. It closed almost $1,000, but it managed to get it repaired. So even then, the stuff report is just twisting things slightly. Okay, he managed to get it repaired. The repair costs were just less than $1,000, and that's what he's seeking. Willful damage, however, is simply that a person takes someone else's property and damages it and attempts to deprive them permanently of their property. Throwing a phone into a swimming pool, what would you expect your phone to work well? No. So there's no beyond repair during the incident. What he had done is he had stolen his phone, not because you're saying Duval had damaged his phone. Well, how did he get it? Considering it's John's property. Is there a theft part going on there anywhere? No. It's just we won't care about the fact that he stole something from him. We're just going to say he willfully damaged it. Moving on. In the papers earlier filed with Auckland District Court, Murphy claimed the incident started after he took 8 to 9 pictures of Clarke after he exited a butchery across the road from his Remuera home. Well, that's correct. No fault there. I've shown you all the photos. There's no lie. This week, Murphy told Stuff a judge had since advised he should raise the matter with police. Exactly what I'm saying. The judge wouldn't accept John's filings. He said the police should do this, and he sent John back to the police. So now John's a victim trying to get the police to actually do their job properly. Crazy. In a statement, a police spokeswoman confirmed a 47-year-old man had been summoned to appear in Auckland District Court later this month, charged with willful damage. All right. Clarke this week referred requests for comment to his lawyer, Ron Mansfield. Yeah, I'm amazed. I hope Ron's going to get paid, or is he just going to get paid with everybody else's money? Because Clarke won't be using his own because he hasn't any. Mansfield told Stuff a statement would be provided, but had not been received at the time of this publication. Well, obviously. At the time of the incident, Clarke was detained, but later released without charge. Soon after, an image of Clarke being marched away in handcuffs by police outside his home surfaced on social media site Reddit. Yeah, and soon after that, a whole lot more got released by me via YouTube.
What's your name?
I don't know about you, but can you point out where the kids are in these photos? I don't see any, but you know, I am half blind, who knows?
What's your name? What's your name?
The Duval founder said that a photographer was trying to take pictures of him and his family.
What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
Go look it up. CKA Mark OTHO Keen. It stands for commonly known as Mark of the House of Keen. Look it up, it's there. And I'll be releasing all, after this incident is finished before the courts, I will be releasing it. In February, Murphy, who owns NZLII Central Car Company, confirmed he had been the other man involved in the incident. He defended his action. It's my right to video and take pictures of somebody, he said, claiming Clarke had stolen his phone. Well, how else did it get in fucking Kenyon swimming pool? Do you think John threw it right over his house and that magically got it in the swimming pool? Hell of an arm there, John. John's a good sort. He doesn't need this shit. And it's solely because it was John Murphy that the police chose to release him without charge. Anybody else, they'd be getting locked up because the evidence was overwhelming. And it will be proven in court. But we'll see. At the time, Clarke, who had been buying a steak at the butcher, said on social media he was later detained as he left his home to go and collect his children from school. What a liar. No kids. This is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. What, you let your kids hang around at school for an hour before collecting them? Again, he's mixing things up, trying to play the poor me card by throwing his kids into it, when there was no children anywhere. This must have been there must have been 15 cops. We've heard the cries, me, cops were everywhere. Well, if you weren't such a criminal, mate, you probably would have got lesser of a response. And I walked up the street and requested, I had an AR-15 and tasers pointed at me, and I walked up the street at the request of the cops, he said. Murphy is also a director of Joden Finance, which trades as Cornwall Motors. Earlier this year, he was awarded $20,000 in damages after winning a defamation suit against a woman who claimed he had stolen her car. And in that one, Murphy v. Kai, Jasmine Kai was the lady, and she was the one that claimed he had stolen it. This was after her partner had taken the car to John's dealership and legally sold it to him. John has it all on video that proved that he sold it and the guy sold it and he bought it legally. And it was because the wife wanted to keep that car, a little Toyota fucking, I forget what it is, Vitz, like a little Toyota Vitz. He had decided that, the wife decided, no, we still need the car. Our Tesla's not going to be there for another 2 weeks. We need the car for mum and dad to do the grocery shopping. So she lost the plot at him and then rang up the police and reported John had stolen it from outside her house. A complete fabrication and lie. Anyway, regardless, John then took Jasmine Kai to the High Court for defamation and won. She had posted on YouTube that John Murphy was a thief, and she named him directly and said that he had stolen the car. Nothing could have been further from the truth. So that's why John won, and he set a landmark defamation case in New Zealand. So everybody should be bloody thanking John for that. Now you actually have case law to support defamation. If someone names you directly and slangs and says that you've done something illegal, you can now use that case to support you. Moving on. The Clarkes founded Duval back in 2013. The development group entered receivership after an early morning raid at the couple's rented Remuera home on August the 2nd last year. It was placed into statutory management later that month. Investors have previously spoken of their regret over investing with the Duval. However, a group of minority shareholders has taken legal action against the Financial Markets Authority over the development company being put into statutory management. Okay, and that's pretty much the end of that story. Okay, so it doesn't really go on much about the fact that he's now being charged, just that he's been charged. And when he showed up on the 26th, no, sorry, it might have been the 23rd of this month, earlier this week when he showed up in court, sorry, my head's a bit muddled because I'm trying to help mum and that, so I've got other things on my mind. But, yeah, that's about fucking time is all I have to say. And now John has, of course, put his victim impact statement in, because he is the victim of that willful damage, of his thing being stolen. Now that it's been put off, so his first appearance has been put off because now the police are wondering if it's okay to offer Kenyon Clarke divorce. Well, no, it fucking isn't. I mean, if it was a simple matter of damaging someone's phone beyond repair, you know, intentionally damaging someone's phone or taking it away and depriving them permanently, then that would be different. But this fuckwit went ahead and lied to police, made statements all over media about John Murphy, defaming him there too, I'd say, but that's another matter. This guy went and lied to the police, saying that John was filming it and then tried to bring children into it, which is just a low-life thing to do. And because it's only because John filed private prosecution against this wanker that the judge said, hey, hang on, the police should get this shit. They go back to the police, who then all of a sudden it's magically under review instead of no further action. And now they've finally got their arse into gear and are charging him, not with burglary, not with making false statements, not with theft, just willful damage. Okay? So it's just a minute thing that they're doing when they should actually be going after him full hog. There's plenty of evidence to prove all of this happened. They do have statements that were lies made by Kenyon Clarke. So why isn't he being done for making false statement to police? Or do we have to wait for him to get up on a stand under oath and commit perjury? Is that what we have to wait for? And then you're going to charge him with that? I fucking doubt it. You'll just let him away with it. Because Kenyon's a big rich man. Everybody knows Kenyon. Kenyon's got his mates in the police force. You know? Why should it have to have gone to this stage where John has wasted valuable time and money to private prosecute this just for fucking Kenyon Clarke to then be all of a sudden now being under review with the police? This is the police dicking John around and John having to get them to act their age and do their job properly. So yeah, all of that time and effort's gone. I hope John goes after them for that. I hope John sues the police for failure to do their fucking sworn duty, for failure to do their job properly. I believe there's ample evidence now. We're only gathering more. But again, that's all in the future. But at this time, Kenyon Clarke is now, it's been put off till later off next June. I believe it's the 23rd, or one of the 20 dates of June. It's now been adjourned, administratively adjourned. And yes, Mr. Police Officer, I have seen the... And you're asking John if he has a problem with Kenyon getting... Too fucking right. Miles, too fucking right he has a problem with you giving him a get-off free charge. If he wanted Kenyon to be given to... He wouldn't have tried to privately prosecute him for criminal fucking damage, willful damage. So what do you think? Do you think John's going to be happy with being offered to Kenyon for outright being a complete assaulting him, stealing his property, lying to police, trying to make John out of doing nasty things like taking photographs of him and his children, defaming John? Do you think Miles, Mr. Miles, I won't say your last name, police officer, Miles B, but do you think he'd be happy with that? No fucking way. Don't you dare give that. Not when you guys are out there earning $95 million a year, ticketing people for speeding, when there's no fucking victim in those either. Perhaps if you guys in your marked speed cameras were actually marked, people saw them as speed cameras, they'd slow down more, but then you wouldn't make as much money, would you? Sorry, it's a pet peeve of mine. So, yeah, as far as the crying vagina is concerned, wah. It's been put off. His plea hasn't been entered. It's been put off because the police are thinking, do we offer him? And John is definitely going to be opposed to that, Miles. So, don't for a second think that he's going to be anything happy than you guys actually trying to prosecute and get a conviction against this wanker. You know, we don't want people to take matters in their own hands, and a great way of that happening is for the police to actually do their fucking job properly. If people had more trust and confidence, because remember those key words, that's what all government and organisations run on, is the trust and confidence of the public. How's your trust and confidence in the police doing their job properly? I might take a little poll. Please, put a 1 in the comments, or a 0 in the comments if you disagree, or put a 1 in the comments if you agree that the police should do their fucking job properly and prosecute this prick to the fullest extent of the law. Put a 2 in the comments if you think the wanker should be charged with more than just willful damage. And put a 3 in the comments, 1, 2, 3. We'll get all the ducks in a row. And put a 3 in the comments if you think John should not accept and he should get a criminal conviction against him. Perhaps that'd stop him running a business, but unfortunately not in this country. Alright, end of story, enough of my babble. It's been a while, guys, it's been a few weeks. I wanted to give you an update on what's happening with John and the crying vagina, and hopefully you'll get a bit more. I will be posting a few vids of what I'm doing around the farm, a lot of clearing, tractor work, reef, straining fences, all those sorts of wonderful things. Anyway, guys, catch you later. Enough of my ranting. Bye.